Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Happy Investor Podcast. I'm Sophie, and this is episode 1, and today is going to be a great day. So, I decided to start this podcast because I feel like we never get taught about money in school. And I found recently that I've really got into investing because I've got a property business at the moment. And I've learned that you can invest today, right now, with an app with £1. Like, if you think about our parents or our grandparents' generation, if they wanted to do investing, they'd have to go and visit their stockbroker, open an account, order some stocks, do loads of research, read the newspapers, and it would be a long and convoluted process. We have all got phones with apps on where you can open an account today, stick £1 in, and it will start growing for you. So there's no excuse not to. But I do think that investing is always seen as complicated, risky, something the rich do. But we all have access to it. So on the Happy Investor podcast, we're going to be talking about investing, stocks and shares, gold, property, business, as well as living our happiest lives. Because I've always gone by the motto, do what makes you happy. And it's made me quite a happy person. So a bit about me, if you don't know me yet. My name is Sophie and my background is scuba diving. So when I was 18, I took a gap year. I went to an organisation and said, can you please send me somewhere as different as possible? I want a challenge. So they said to me, okay, you're either going to go to West Africa or East Malaysia and teach English for 3 months. Brilliant. So they ended up sending me to East Malaysia. So when I was 18, I got on a flight to Kota Kinabalu in Borneo and taught English for 3 months. Had the best time. And while I was there, I did some scuba diving, may have fallen in love. And I ended up moving in with 3 diving instructors, doing my first professional diving qualification, which is Dive Master. And I actually stayed there for a year. Sorry, Mum and Dad. They must have been so worried about me. But the diving was amazing. I was running a dive center for this crazy Chinese guy called Jeffrey, who would just leave me to it. So he gave me a little minibus. And I would pick up the guests in the morning, pick up the lunch as well. I would have got all the dive gear ready the night before. I would take them all out on the boat, take them diving, and then we'd party with them all in the evening because Jeffrey would get us into the VIP section of the clubs. So I was literally living my best life. Then I went to uni. Didn't know what I wanted to study, so I studied anthropology, which is the study of other cultures. And every summer I got a diving job. So I spent 3 months in Thailand, in Koh Tao, where I became a diving instructor. Then I spent the next summer running a dive center in Vietnam. That was amazing. Then I got a job in Fiji for 6 months on a really remote island that you could only get to by cargo ship, which took 12 hours. Running the dive training for gap year students. And then we had marine biologists teaching them to do like fish ID and coral ID. And we would survey the reef and send those survey results back to some universities for data. So then I got back to the UK and I did a master's in Southeast Asian economics, politics and anthropology. Absolutely loved it. Fell in love with Southeast Asia. And I met my husband, Simon. And Simon was doing a mechanical engineering degree. And I said to him, I'm not done yet. I've still got itchy feet. So I said to him, would you like to start a dive business with me? And he said yes. And we looked for dive centres for sale. And we found some land for sale on a remote Indonesian island in North Sulawesi called Bangka Island. And I knew from being in the world of diving that this is one of the most amazing places. It's one of the best places for diving in the world. Divers go there. So that was my market research. So we decided to visit. So first we went to Thailand and did some free diving where we learned to hold our breath for 3 minutes and dive down to 20 meters on one breath. Then we went to Cambodia and we got 2 dirt bikes and we explored Cambodia for a month with the worst map you've ever seen. It's literally a fold-out map that had most of the roads missing. So that was a great adventure. I nearly fell backwards into the Mekong River off a ferry on my dirt bike. But that's a story for another podcast. And then we ended up on Bangka Island and we absolutely fell in love with it. You go by boat, you enter by the mangroves, and there was land for sale, which included 2 beaches and this huge bit of rainforest, basically, that had mango trees, pineapple plants, cashew trees, all sorts. It was absolutely beautiful. So we spent about a month doing our research again, costing it up, how much it was going to cost to build this resort. And then we managed to raise some investment from family and friends, and we did it. So we built an off-grid resort where we had fresh water from the wells that we had to dig with the help from the local village. We had generators for electricity. And we learned Indonesian while we were out there. We just learned as we went. We ended up having 11 Indonesian staff who became like a second family to us. We had our kids out there, which is another story, trying to get to the hospital in the middle of the night when the tide was out and the boat was in and the baby was coming, but we made it. And we had such adventures out there. It was amazing. We taught English to the local kids. We started an NGO because a Chinese mining company wanted to come and mine the island, and it was illegal. But no one really realised it because it was such a remote island. So we managed to get an NGO together with the other resorts and the help of the local community. It took about a year, but we managed to take them to the Supreme Court in Jakarta and won. So we saved the island. There was a wildfire one day that I had to tackle single-handedly because the boat was out diving. So we had to deal with that. Luckily, the local community came to my rescue and helped. And that was just the beauty of being part of this amazing community. And we were actually on Channel 4. So Channel 4 came and filmed us for Escape to the Wild. So if you want to see what life was like, have a look at Escape to the Wild. So that was an amazing adventure. And when our kids were 1 and 2, we started thinking about what to do next. We'd been there for 5 years. We'd gone from nothing there to 8 beach bungalows and a restaurant and 2 dive boats and staff, a really good business. And we started thinking about where the kids should go to school. And our options were basically us to homeschool them, which we thought we'd be rubbish at, or to send them to the local school in the village where people just kind of went part-time and it was all in Indonesian. So we thought that wasn't suitable. So we thought, okay, we'll sell the business and come back. So we sold the business to a really nice couple who wanted to live there and actually homeschool their children, and headed back. We had a brief go at air traffic control because that was Simon's dream. It takes less than 1% of the applicants actually get in, but he got into the training college. And then I felt a bit competitive and applied, and I got in as well. We started doing air traffic control. We did it for about 1.5 years. We were just about to leave the training college and go live. And then the pandemic happened and there were no more planes. So we got fired and we had to do something else. So Simon went to work for the ambulance service and I wanted to start a business again. So I got into the business of property and property management. And through that, we managed to get to 1 million revenue within 4 years. We manage about 40 house shares across Southampton and Bournemouth in the south coast of the UK. And it's been a really good business for us. And through property, I've learned about building property, developing property, flipping property, development, and also the world of investing. And it really annoyed me that I hadn't learned about investing before, because you can literally start with £1. I'm going to do a whole episode on this. Stick it in the stock market, put it in an index fund. So you're investing across hundreds of companies instead of trying to choose the right one, and your money will start growing. And so I've been doing that for the last few years. I also invest in assets and I invest in Forex trading as well. So there's loads of different stuff I want to talk to you about. We're going to have guests on the podcast as well. We're going to learn together about different businesses, different ideas where you can get cash flow coming in. And we're going to talk about happiness as well, because it's not just all about the money. It's about living a happy life. And that might not mean working 30, 40-hour weeks. A happy life to you might mean working part-time and living frugally and having beautiful dog walks every day on the beach. It might mean different things to different people. So we're going to dive into that and see what happiness is all about. Now, this podcast is for everyone. Everyone is welcome here. There's no judgment, there's no stupid questions, and the one rule is be kind. And if you have any feedback or ideas, I would love to hear from you. So you can email me hello@thehappyinvestor.co.uk. So send me an email, send me a note, and tell me what you want to hear about on the podcast. So if you're someone who wants to learn, wants to grow their money, and have fun meeting interesting people, then I think you're going to like it here. And I'll be learning too, sharing as I go. So let's do it together. Send me your ideas. I would love to hear from them. And this is just the beginning. So I'll put some show notes in the description. I'll put in a free resource if you want to start investing now. You are my kind of person. And I'll put my social media links there as well. But this is going to be a fun journey. So make sure you subscribe and I'll see you for the next one. Bye.